everyone, and welcome to the Marana Chamber podcast. I'm Audra Winters, and I'm your host for today's podcast. Thank you for joining us today. Our podcasts feature Marana Chamber members and business owners sharing information about their business, what makes them successful, what they have learned, and tips to help you with your everyday business life. We hope that you find these podcasts helpful and entertaining, and that you will let others know about them. Our podcasts are being recorded and edited by Anstar Production Group. I would now like to welcome our guest, Lara.
Hi, how are you?
Good. And I'm going to have you pronounce your last name because it's a beautiful last name and I will butcher it and it won't be beautiful anymore.
But it's a lot of vowels. So, Iacobucci. Iacobucci.
Okay. And to you too.
Yes. I know. It's
Italian and I have no Italian. I have,
You're forgiven.
Thank you.
You're forgiven.
Thank you. But anyway.
People mess it up. They always put an L in the beginning. And so it's a lot of vowels. So it's okay.
Okay.
We'll practice it later.
Forgive me. But anyway, Lara is with the Hope Animal Shelter.
Right.
And you are a board member with them.
I am.
Correct?
I'm the vice president.
Vice president.
Yes, I know.
What
Very
does the
important.
vice president get to do?
I get to do a lot of things. Like today, I'm putting together a new dog room. We're remodeling a dog room. So that's we're a working board. So a lot of us are volunteers / board members. We do whatever's needed at the shelter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we get into the shelter, I want to know more about you.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit about yourself and, kind of your background first.
How did I end up here?
Yes.
Okay. So back in the 50s, my grandparents came to Tucson from Chicago, and they came to Tucson to open up hotels and restaurants. So our family ended up in Tucson, and I kept fighting Tucson. I'm leaving Tucson. I'm going back to Chicago. I'm leaving Tucson. I'm going to Southern California. Well, I continued to come back here. And when I finally settled, I started to work for Enterprise Rent-A-Car. And during that time, I heard about Hope Animal Shelter. And at the time, I was working long hours, so I couldn't give time to Hope Animal Shelter, but I could give money. And so I started giving to Hope Animal Shelter, and they were down in Tucson at the time. And then I decided one day, while I was doing something at Enterprise, like washing a car, I said, I'm going to go back to the university. I'm going to quit my job, finish my degree, go back to the university.
Good for you.
It was the best decision I ever made. So I got my degree in organizational leadership, which I didn't even know was a degree.
I was going to say, wow.
Yes, I know. And so that means that I can run anything, basically. I can be a manager of a business or a nonprofit. Long story short, I started volunteering at Hope because they had moved up to Marana at Cortero and I-10. So I started going there because I couldn't give as much money, but I could give some time. And I really learned the ins and outs. They're a cage-free shelter. And that was so important to me because it's more like a home. So that's how I got involved with them. I heard about them through Enterprise because Enterprise was a very charitable organization. And then when I really got to go there and meet the director and see what they were doing up there, it was like just such a difference than any other shelter I've volunteered at.
Excellent, excellent. So how long has Hope Animal Shelter, I mean, obviously you've been involved for many, many years, but how long has it been in establishment?
Since 2006. Susan Sherrill is the founder and executive director, and she was an ad executive in New York. And she had taken a trip to Africa, and she said, I need to open a shelter. I need to do something with animals. So she came to Tucson, opened this shelter, and that was 2006. And they were in Tucson at the time. So they've been in Marana, I think, since like 2013.
Good. Well, we're glad to have them in Marana. And we're glad to have them as Marana Chamber members, too. So anything that we can do to help support our local, not just businesses, but local nonprofits, too. I mean, that's, really what it's all about. And where is Hope animal shelter located?
If you are on Cortero before you get to I-10 and you make a right down the dirt road where all the construction is, you head all the way back to the end of the dirt road, and that's Hope Animal Shelter. And it's a small home that we've turned into a living quarters for all these animals. All the cats live together, but usually dogs have their own rooms. I think of it as like a little boarding house for animals.
Like a hotel.
Yes, yes. So they have their own rooms and lots of things to play with. And we have 4 acres out there.
Oh, wow.
So it's a lot of work.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. It's nice to have that much acreage because you never know how many animals you are going to be taking in or leaving or...
Right. And that's always our challenge. We're always needing more space because as we rescue, we don't take animals from the public.
Okay.
We rescue animals from hoarding situations and from shelters that are still continuing to euthanize their animals. So some of the smaller border town shelters euthanize their animals, and not because any other reason, that they just don't have the space. They don't have the funds. So after a certain amount of time, they're overrun with animals. So we try to go down there, rescue these animals, bring them back here, get them some training, get them their medical needs taken care of, socialize them with other animals, and then put them up for adoption.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. So people contact you or you know of different contacts in order to get these animals, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we do. We have an outreach team that is all over Arizona. They go up to Maricopa. They go down to Santa Cruz. They're in Green Valley today. They're everywhere. They're on the move.
Good.
Yeah.
So Hope Animal Shelter, it's a nonprofit. It's a 501c3, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. But we were talking a little bit earlier. You guys don't get any, government funding or state or local funding from anybody. It's all done through fundraising, right?
Right. And I say we just, depend on the kindness of strangers. But there are people who have been supporters of Hope from the very beginning. But yes, we don't get any government funding, state funding, anything like that.
Any grants? Do you guys qualify for grants or have you gotten into that realm yet?
We haven't. We're on our way there. When Susan was running it by herself before she really had a board, and she put a board together because she wanted the sustainability for Hope after she retires or whatnot. But that was so important to her, is that Hope and her vision would go on. So when we did put this board together, we decided that we would look at grants, look at maybe a retail space, look at expanding our property, adding more facilities for the dogs and cats. But when it was just her and the staff, they had no time for anything but caring for the animals.
Caring for 'em. Exactly.
So we're really looking into a lot of other avenues.
Excellent. Good. So how many board of directors sit on the Hope board?
There are 6 of us.
Okay.
So
That's a good size.
president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, and then 2 other members.
Okay. So if somebody wanted to get involved and wanted to give all their life savings to you, you would take it, right?
We take everything at Hope.
But also, do they have other volunteer opportunities, with not being on the board? Can you volunteer?
We do. We're starting to bring volunteers back in. During COVID, Susan wanted to be very safe. She didn't want to put her staff at risk. So everyone worked a little harder because we didn't have as many volunteers. We had a couple that come, 2 or 3 times a week, but just someone dropping by, not as much. So now we're just starting to get more volunteers, and we really are looking for anybody who does, anything. So we have a group of Mormon kids who come out there and help us. We have Eagle Scouts who come out there and help us. And if they say, for example, can I build a rattlesnake fence? Yes. We will say yes to just about anything, because when you are relying on the kindness of strangers, whatever they'll do, we'll take.
Okay. Yeah. As long as they're being, like you say, being kind and,
yes,
and treating the animals with respect.
Yes.
And
so
all of that good stuff.
If they want to walk dogs, we put them through a class. They have to fill out an application. There's a whole thing. But if somebody said, hey, I want to come down and cut some trees, we'd be like, okay, as long as you know how to cut down trees, you
Safely,
know?
yes.
Safely.
And is someone there
Exactly.
at night too with the animals or?
No.
No, okay.
No.
Okay. So I didn't know if there was any, because you were busy as a volunteer, with a full-time job, and I didn't know how late people could volunteer or if there
Right.
were, what kind of
We're
opportunities.
usually there until at least 6.
Okay.
Yeah. And they can go onto our website and there's a place to volunteer. There's a place to ask questions. I mean, our website is great. We had a lady from the U of A actually design it for us, and it's really user friendly.
Good. And what is that website?
HopeAnimalShelter.net.
.net. Okay.
Yes.
So you guys were really, creative there.
Yeah. We were.
HopeAnimalShelter.net.
Right.
Okay. Just giving you a hard time.
No, but I mean, really, truly, it's, HopeAnimalShelter.net.
Okay. Say if somebody wants to give you a call, is there a local number too for them to call?
It is 792-9200.
Great, good. And then also because social media is so popular and a great way to get outreach too, what social media platforms do you guys use?
We're on Facebook, Instagram. We have Twitter.
Oh, wow.
I know. We're pretty fancy.
Tweeting away.
I know. We are tweeting away.
And someone is looking for a new family member. Is there an application process that they have to go through, or how do they, rescue one of these? Or, I wouldn't even say rescue, but, lucky enough to get one of these animals.
There is. There's right on the first page of our website, if you go to adopt, you can foster if you want to foster. I mean, a lot of people think, oh, I can't take care of a pet because maybe I have another pet. Well, they could become a part of our foster team. We have a whole foster team called Hope Fosters. They do a really good job at socializing these animals, especially if like an animal comes in and they're pregnant. They'll go to one of the foster families, so they don't have to be in, the shelter. Even though it's not really a shelter, it's still, there's other dogs. And so there's anxiety that comes with being there. So we always try to get the new mamas to a foster family.
Okay, good. And I always just think of dogs, but there's also cats, right?
We do. We have a whole cat room and we have a catio.
A catio? What's
Yes.
a catio?
A catio is an enclosed patio where the cats can go outside and feel like they're like jungle cats.
Okay.
There's a tree out there. There's a swing where volunteers can come and sit and pet the cats and brush them. And so, yeah, it's a catio.
Catio. I like that.
I know.
Do you have a doggio?
We don't have a doggio.
Okay.
We should have a doggio. Anyone out there wants to build a doggio?
There you go. That would take up probably a lot more space, though, too.
But we have the space. We have 4 acres.
I know, but that goes so fast, though.
No.
The size of it, yeah.
We have
When you're
plenty
and
of
expanding
room, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
we do.
So there's many ways to get involved. You can give your time, you can give your money, you can actually adopt. What about, I know that you guys are always having fun events. Is there anything coming up here recently or any annual things that you normally have?
Well, we just started events again. And so our event is May 23rd, and it's at Topgolf right here in Marana. And you can buy a whole booth. That way you're with your friends or family. You can have up to 6 people. You get 3 hours of golf and dinner and refreshments. And you can have 6 people, $295.
Nice.
Yeah. Because I went to Topgolf the other day, and my friends and I spent more than $295 collectively. So yeah, it's a Sunday afternoon from 4 to 7. So they can go onto our website and buy tickets.
And I know you guys don't normally cage them, but will there be some of the pets from Hope Animal Shelter there so we can actually see? Or does Topgolf not let dogs in?
I don't think so because of the having food there.
Okay.
So I would like to. I'm always trying to sneak an animal in somewhere. There's a little one named Kevin who can fit in my purse. So I always want to bring Kevin with me.
And
people are like, is that your boyfriend? I'm like, no, that's the dog, Kevin. He's so cute. He has water on the brain. But we rescued Kevin from a situation.
So can that not be taken off, or do you know?
Well, they're working right now to release the pressure on his brain. So Yeah, but
Yeah, he
these
needs to come everywhere then, just
I
to watch him.
know. These are the animals that we specialize in. You know, if someone passes away and they adopted from Hope, we'll always take the animal back
nice.
in.
Okay.
So we do. We have a lot of special need animals. And now we just have a sanctuary as part of our shelter where many animals will live their lives there.
Okay.
So it's
Well,
nice.
tell us about your babies. How many? What are their names? And
George and Stuart.
Okay.
So I used to have 3, and one passed away just recently.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
That's the worst.
It's the worst. It's the hardest thing ever. So that was Gino. So Gino passed away. He was 14, but he had a good long life. And
Well, I was
then,
going to say 14. That's good.
yes. Yes, he was a great dog. And then I have George.
Okay.
And then I have Stuart. He's Stewie, but I call him Stuart because now he's a snotty dog that he left the shelter. And that's the one I got from Hope Shelter.
Oh, so they get a little attitude when they get out of the shelter. Or
well-
they probably had attitude at the shelter. They just kind of hit it.
He didn't. He came to my house and got attitude because when you live at my house, it's
the royal treatment.
It's fancy.
It's like the Ritz.
It really is. It is. It's like the Ritz. Exactly. So, yeah, he has special treatment. So he's brushed and pampered and all the things. But it was funny when I was volunteering there and I brought Stewie home, people were like, okay, that's enough animals. You have too many animals. So I had a hard time going back to Hope because I want to take them all home with me.
Well, and especially if you're bonding with them and so forth. But the nice thing is knowing that they have a nice home. When you do,
Yes.
It might be a temporary home for now, but at least it's a nice place for them to go and, than the alternative.
Right.
Too.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, it breaks my heart that, that someone wouldn't be able to care for their dog, but it happens.
It does.
So it's nice to have these places that are cage-free on 4 acres where they can have a good home.
Yes.
So, and I hear they're going to pave that road out there too.
They are going to pave that road. So I was on the radio recently and I called to Mayor Ed. I said, Mayor Ed, you got to pave the road. And he called me. What kind of person calls?
That's the mayor of Marana.
I was shocked and I went on and on about how wonderful he was. And then I went back on the radio and told him how wonderful he was. But what a wonderful man. And he's like, okay, I'll see. And then Patty was kind enough to tell me, who's with the chamber with us, and was kind enough to tell me, yes, they're paving that road. And
well, because not just for, getting to the animal shelter, but there's other businesses back there. And then there's homeowners too.
there are homeowners and they're going to have all those new homes and businesses, and Douglas Auto is back there. And
I think there's a horse training place
there
back
is
there.
Cortero,
too.
yes.
So, there's a lot that's going to happen. And like you said, there are building businesses right there.
Right.
And those businesses don't want the dust. And the traffic is only going to increase with,
Right.
with the home ownership.
Right. And I'm glad to see that because we really, to this day, we're still recovering from a flood we had in 2018.
Oh, really?
The entire shelter was flooded,
wow.
a foot of water. And, to a shelter that doesn't have a lot of extra money, we're happy to see that that's going to be paved, not only for flooding issues, but for the safety of everyone traveling on that road.
And because when I went out there, I'm like, okay, am I almost there? You're going down this dirt road. And,
Yes.
but then once you're there, it's a fabulous facility and it's very well taken care of and very clean and so forth too. So yeah, so it needs that image of a nice road.
It's a little gem in the desert, isn't it?
There you go.
You
Yeah,
get
it's
there
great.
and you're like, oh my God, is this so cute? I know. But the road can be off-putting. So a lot of times if someone wants to donate, I'll meet them at the end of the road, fill my car with their donations, and then go back down the road. So,
well, good. Okay,
Yeah.
One more time. How does someone get a hold of, what's your website again?
hopeanimalshelter.net.
And then also on Facebook?
Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Instagram's probably so much fun to post all those dogs.
It is. We have a lady who does Instagram, and as soon as she rescues them, she puts them up. And then, a few weeks later, they'll be ready for adoption.
Okay. So I was going to say it takes a few weeks before
Yeah.
they get adopted because they probably have to be checked and
Right. We
And if
do.
they
We
have
have to
to-
take them to the vet and make sure they're social with other animals. And, we don't want to put a dog in a situation where, maybe he bites. So
and he doesn't have all his shots or
Right. They
or
have
she
to have all their
doesn't.
shots and
Be fixed.
spayed or neutered.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Very good.
Yes.
Very good. Anything else? Any final things that you'd like to share with us about yourself or about Hope Animal Shelter?
Well, like I said, we rely on the kindness of strangers. So we're always looking for sponsors for events, or we're looking for handy people to come out and trim trees, or we're always looking for people to donate a washer and dryer. I mean, like I said,
yeah.
we'll take, if someone says I have an extra tractor, okay, we can use that. I mean, we use everything.
And so also, what about like towels and dog toys?
We can always use that.
Okay.
We can always use food.
Okay, food,
We're actually on Chewy and we're on Amazon. We have a wish list. So if you go to our website, you can find all those different resources.
Nice. Because I'm sure that there's probably special kinds of food that the dogs have to
Right.
have. Okay.
Right.
And then, like you said, Amazon and Chewy can just deliver it.
Exactly. And it comes right to the door. So you can let them go down the dirt road
There you
instead
go.
of you.
And they're used to it. In fact, that's
Exactly.
probably one of the better roads than they get to go down.
Exactly. They don't mind it. Amazon truck.
Yeah. Very good. Well, again, thank you so much, Laura, for your time and
Thank you.
taking care of all the babies out there. And again, it's Hope Animal Shelter if you're interested in volunteering. Again, I'm Audra Winters with the Marana Chamber. Thank you for spending some time with us today. And again, this is being recorded and produced by Anstar Studios. Please remember to shop local, spend local, donate local, and have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.